We're good to go whenever you are.
Thank you.
Sound is good.
Hey,
Okay.
If we're gonna start being quiet, it's okay.
do I use the?
We gotta say the pledge, it's a bunch of cool.
Custer County Board of County Commissioners meeting will come to order. The record shows that today is November the 6th, 2020. The time is 9:00 a.m. If you would join me for a salute to the flag, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We would ask the deputy clerk to the board to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Flower,
Present.
Commissioner Kanda,
Here.
Commissioner Prince,
Yeah.
County Attorney Clint Smith,
Present.
Clerk to the Board Kelly Camper is not here. Deputy Clerk to the Board Karen Evans present.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. We'll forego audience introductions, amendments to the agenda. Gentlemen,
I have one, sir.
go ahead.
I would like to scratch under new business, the first item, consideration of entering into an agreement for an SUP violation.
Would you state that in the form of a motion if you so desire?
I will, sir. I move that we postpone to a later undetermined date, consideration of entering into an agreement for an SUP violation.
I'll second
Been moving seconded to postpone the first item of business under new business consideration or entering into an agreement for an SUP violation. Discussion.
it. Why?
Go ahead, sir.
I just talked to Jackie about it. I think we'll be ready by the mid-month meeting if we can put it on that agenda.
Okay, we'll
So that's the reason. right?
Karen,
Just to
make a
make it
note of
clear.
that.
He was ready.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of amending the agenda by striking the first posted item of business, say aye. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That item has been
Struck.
struck.
How did we do it before? Do we want to strike it really? Or does Kelly said the other day it would make more sense if it's not
Yeah,
there?
you can strike it.
Put it back on there so it's not, people aren't
And
confused.
then, Carrie, you'll put that back on for the November 18th meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Further items to amend the agenda? Nor do I. We'll move on. We have no minutes to approve today, so commissioner items, gentlemen, your choice.
I'll start. Only one major item just to bring up. I am in the process, and you'll get a request for time on your calendars for a joint meeting with the fiber and the tower programs to, our complete broadband program discussions. And I'd like to see it probably follow the meeting we have on the, was it the 18th now or the 16th? 18th. Yeah, give us time to get it together. They've met with the two organizations that met, Carmel and Vogel's group. Vogel's guys, as you know, are applying for grants. They're working on that now to finish up the work on the EDA grant, I should say. And then, but we need to get together and make sure we're joined here. So what do you got down after the 18th? Any open windows?
Yeah, the only thing I see is that they have that tabletop exercise. CES does.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to involve the commission.
No.
Are you thinking in the afternoon of the 18th?
Could do it then. That would be a good time to get through together anyway.
There's a task force meeting at 3:30.
Oh, that would be a problem. We could do it the next day.
You pick.
All right, let me see what
I
will
can't
work.
do it on the 19th. It'd have
Okay.
to be on the 17th or 18th.
17th, 18th,
Of course, the 17th, you'll have a
Coronavirus.
CBO.
oh, that's right, we got,
So,
let me look here, other dates. Could be another day later than that too.
well, I don't think that task force meeting's the end of the world, do you? We're not
Oh,
there.
gosh, no.
I think it's kind of dissolving.
It is. Last
So-
meeting, there were only three of us on there. We just chatted basically.
I
I
need to-
prefer the afternoon of the 18th.
I do too, personally, that's what I'd like to see.
Will you get back with us on that?
I'll get back, I'll get the mayors involved here and then we'll go from there.
What time?
Let's make it 1:30. Time to get out of the meeting.
Anything else?
No, not for now.
I have nothing. Strategic plan, anything, gentlemen?
I guess so.
RF?
I guess so. We can do it. Commissioner items?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he gets to do his.
Yeah,
And I'll pass it over to you. We're gonna hear
I
the rest
still
of the
have
story
2
from the
months.
airport.
Give me about 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm teasing with you. Yeah, you just sort of mentioned that. We did have a Board of Health meeting that we all attended.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, I'm fine. I was just teasing.
Yeah, I could have
I was
mentioned that.
teasing with.
By the way, that's a good thing to mention for public to know. It was a very good meeting, taking a look at the advisory panel group members as well as policy to make all that. And a status update that was put out by the Public Health Agency last night.
Anything else, sir? Sorry.
No, sir. and
My apologies.
I'm teasing with you. I have no issue.
Blew
here.
by it. Okay, attorney items?
Nothing new since yesterday.
All right, sir. Thank you, admin assistant.
I'm good.
Public comment? Anybody has anything they want to comment to the BOCC that's not on the agenda? Now would be the appropriate time. Hearing none, we'll move on. Staff reports, airport is first up this morning. Will you call Donna and tell her we're set to jet? We'll take this second, allow finance officer to come over.
So while they're waiting, Donald here was successful in backfilling the trench. So there's progress going on. We all we got to do now is wait for the rest of the story to give us.
That was on my list.
I know, but that was a significant event, I'll tell you.
That goes back on everything.
Interesting.
So the latest budget for the airport that I have did not coincide with Donna showed us this morning. I'm sure I have, that's not the original one. The original one was in the book, and then she gave us a supplemental. And mine doesn't match hers, I don't believe.
Did she give you guys? I don't have that sheet.
The supplemental.
Oh, the supplemental one. Yeah,
Zoom type.
Thank you, sir. Oh, she hand wrote in contract limit 3,200.
Up to you guys.
This is the latest.
For the airport one, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I'm gonna sit there. If you want. Is that right? No, wait a minute, wait. Look.
Not trying to be
No,
a
you're doing the right.
pain in the
You
neck,
got it.
but if you don't, thank you. I appreciate it. I
You can
really
see.
don't mean anything negative by it, but I appreciate
They're
it.
trying to keep the distance.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, that's even better.
You're fine.
No, you're good.
Fine. I just didn't want to overdo the room. Yeah, that was a surprising one.
Looking at that.
Well, we're waiting for Donna. I don't know where Karen went. She must have went to
She went to
get
get
her.
her.
I don't know. We told her 9:15, so we're a little ahead of schedule.
We can listen to his report. Not get-
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
Go ahead and get
We'll do the
started.
Budget later.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so total fuel sales, just a note, the QT pod system is down. So we can't get online and actually get the exact numbers. We'll probably have that before the day is out, but based on the tank depths, it looks like we sold 292 gallons of fuel, which comes out to about $1,165, give or take 10.
Why is this? It's not the unit, it's the system itself that's.
Well,
screwed
the
up.
actual, you get.
Internet to the-
Yeah, their whole system's just botched up.
They were redoing it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, so, but we're probably within $10 or $15 of that, plus or minus.
Okay.
I'll update you the real number once I have it. The taxi lanes are complete from road and bridge. T hangers are all complete. The aprons were poured yesterday. The FBO apron, they're pouring that as we speak, so we'll have access probably in about 2 weeks to the FBO.
And what was poured right before that? The aprons
The
to,
aprons for the old T hangers.
oh.
Yeah.
They
So
poured
they're-
those. They're not
they're-
asphalt.
No, they're concrete.
Yeah,
The Nordyke did it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're all approaching.
Yeah. Okay, good.
AWAS Phase 1 complete. All the electrical work is completed. The next phase is the people who actually put the instrumentation on the actual towers. They'll do that. But I think we're waiting on the Sangre de Crisco Electric to get it powered up. Not sure the status there.
So they got the tower erected.
Yeah, so there's a little tower.
Base is, the rest of it's not on it yet.
Yeah, so, and the trench is backfilled, everything's good there. Al Avenue, otherwise known as Lot 3, the foundation is complete. They'll erect this building in April.
So they're gonna wait till spring.
So things are moving out there. Construction's probably coming to a slow close based on the weather. Other than that, that's about it.
The only update that I have for everybody, because I got it last night, was I talked to Barbara Bocc, the AWI person, and that's who's gonna, their crew's coming to install the instruments. And then they'll check that out, but that won't occur until they're gonna be complete. They project by the 18th of December for the actual operation of the whole facility. And we have a choice. We can go into a test mode once the power's in. And actually dial in and get the AWAS stuff, but it's not broadcast. But that would be a two-step, and they were recommending not doing that, just let it ride, then power it all up.
Well, good. So it's all moving forward.
And all the vouchers have been submitted for the reimbursement, so they're up to date, except for the backfill probably is all we need, and then there'll be some rest of the equipment. Be good.
Jackie told me she leased another hangar to a gal, but I haven't signed the lease yet, so I don't know what it is. T hangar. I thought that's what she told me.
The what?
I thought Jackie Hobby told me she had a gal that wanted to lease a T hangar.
Yeah,
But I
they're,
haven't signed
well,
the
they're,
lease.
yeah, actually, they're supposed to be in today to pay Jackie the money
Okay,
for
that's
that.
probably why then.
Yeah.
So,
So that's moving forward as well.
so these T hangars, they're gonna be under leases just like the rest of the hangar space, or no? Are those T hangar spaces gonna be subleased through who?
No, the T hangars, basically, they were, each individual bought the hangar, similar to the hangars that are out there.
Like a partnership.
No one person owns all the T hangars.
No,
Okay,
no.
so you want a T hangar, you buy it and then lease the ground just like everything else. Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
So if one of the members move out of one of the hangars, then they take over the lease of the person that's decided to bail out.
Exactly. So So what, there's a corporation, T Hangers 5 LLC, that owns the whole hangar. And everyone owns a 20% share of that type of, so if they leave,
They
they
sell
can
their
just sell
share.
their share. And so it's one entity that owns it, but split.
The entity changes members.
Yeah.
Very good, sir. Anything else? Questions, Mr. Bob?
Good. Sounds like things are
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I just
All
have,
right.
do we know where we're at with the?
I'll swap shares.
Yeah,
What are we
they,
doing with that?
they're dealing with the Silver West Estates. And they had permission, the Silver West Estates had a meeting via the phone. They gave them permission to do it, and now it's in the schedule for Sangre de Cristo. Talk to Bubba, Brian Barry. And as soon as he gets the time, he says he can do it in a day. So that'll happen in the next week or so is what he said. That's
So
2
we have
weeks.
the easement to come across.
They're working the easement with Sangre, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be between Sangre de Cristo and Silver West.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. We've got about 15 minutes here. We're going to try to stay on task. So I've asked Miss Donna to come in, Ms. Finance, so she can help us along here and see where we're at.
All right, this is a quick revisit of the topic of the fuel tank for Silver West Airport. Last time we were in, we briefed, we were requesting supplemental funding to replace the aging and deteriorating tank. We had 2 requests from the commissioners. One was to go back and look at the cost of a 10,000 gallon tank versus the 12,000 that we had proposed, and also get back to you on the durability of the tank, expected life cycle of it. So we did that and obtained an additional wrong quote. The original for the 12,000 gallon tank was 71,145 in round numbers. And for the 10,000 gallon tank that you asked us to go back and reprice, it was 68,145. So $3,000 delta less, which represents about 0.5% of the overall investment there.
And you felt any tank smaller than that just wouldn't be worth.
No, sir. And the rationale for that is, one is you can only fill it to 90%. The other is the advantage is you take and getting a full load of fuel, vice a partial load. That's 26 cents per gallon difference. So in order to remain competitive with the surrounding counties and airfields, we feel like we need to take advantage of the larger fuel load size, so that we can recoup that 26 cents per gallon cost, so that we can remain competitive.
And the difference between the 10,000 and 12,000 is being able to take advantage. You can't take advantage of with the 10,000, but you can with the 12. Is that what I'm hearing?
Do the 90% capacity of the tank and then bringing in the load. And Bob may have the exact number on that, but we are able to, if we get a 10,000 gallon tank decremented to the 90% level, that would allow us to get a full fuel load. However, with the small delta in price of getting the 12,000 gallon tank, anticipating future growth for the airfield, that's our recommendation as a board, is to go with the extra.
I understand that, but we were talking about the 26 cents advantage of getting a full load, which makes perfectly great sense to me. But my question is that dependent upon whether we went with the 10,000 or 12,000 gallon tank? Does that make a difference?
Bob, you have the exact size of the load where you get the 26 cents lower cost than the 3,000. Say again? 3,000. 3,000 per load.
And how many gallons have these loads been running historically?
Right now, we're getting 2,000 at a time.
Well, obviously, saving 26 cents a gallon by getting a full load makes perfectly great sense. I mean, there's no sense throwing that money away. And the reason I was asking this is the delta between the two is not significant. I mean, it's significant, but it's not ridiculous. But, you know, if that's the difference between 26 cents and not 26 cents, obviously we'd go for the larger one. So I'm just trying to decide what makes the most sense. So what's the airport's recommendation on this?
The board's recommendation, after chewing on this for quite a while, looking at the various costs involved, trying to remain competitive, future growth, is to go with the 12,000 gallon tank. Our request on that, it's 71, 145 is the ROM pricing. We don't have the final quote till you get ready to order. You know, it's all the normal stipulations in there, 30 to 60 day delivery time frame, et cetera, et cetera.
Does that, I'm sorry.
There's a potential to drive that cost down if we take advantage of other airfields having these tanks installed because of the per diem for the company to come out and install the tanks.
Couple questions. Is that a turnkey number, or do we have to pay for installation after that and hook up and adjust?
Excellent point. And our ask, and last time in here was for $80,000 for the supplemental funding. And that reflects the 71,000 plus about 15% for unknowns, or the pricing deltas that may occur. Installation of the concrete pad. We have to deconstruct the current tank and move it out and try to recoup that by selling the tank. But it was trying to avoid coming back and going, yeah, we asked for a tank, but we didn't think of these things.
So that's with everything, and it is turnkey.
That's as turnkey as we can anticipate at this point, and that's why the ask was
80,000.
Yes, sir.
And that's the 12,000 gallon tank plus hookup and reconstruction.
And that's taking advantage of our current QT supply pump and refuel. Yeah, I think we could pass this around.
Before you do that, let me make a point too with Jay. Not only does it make sense from an amount of fuel point of view, because it also alleviates less fills, the less time, the more you can turn it longer time period. So you don't have to have a truck coming and going all the time, which saves operations time, people getting out there to unload it and take care of it. So you save money in the long run as well with a bigger tank.
And I'm not arguing with it at all.
No, it's just a complete.
What the whole picture is.
These are the two ROM quotes we've received, and there's also a photo of a similar type tank. You'd see we have to install some steel bumper posts and things like that we have priced, and that's in that 15% that we're asking for.
Okay. And Jet A is still on the back burner. It's
Correct.
Someday down the road, maybe.
Yeah, someday down the road, maybe.
Got it.
Which would require a totally separate tank, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Whole new setup, pumps and everything else.
Except for the card readers already set for Gen A.
What do you think, Ms. Donna? The 80,000 was in capital improvement.
Yeah, oh, no, I'm fine.
Come on.
I'll speak up, I'll talk like a big girl.
She's back there.
It's your call. I mean, is it gonna cost us more not to do this? That's where our problem lies, if it's fine now and it would be fine for a while, but when it's not, then it's not. And then all the infrastructure we put in is for naught, so.
So where would the money come from if we approve the 80,000?
It would be out of capital outlay, and I would just do a supplemental.
And the 80,000 that's in capital improvement now.
Is they have utilized all but about 5,000 because the AWAS is complete. There's a little more on the electric, but then the paving came in a little under. And so, they've utilized it, just not quite all. So there's a little, maybe 5,000 left. And then we're here, so.
I'm sorry, sir.
I was just going to ask her another question. Sorry.
I apologize.
Okay, so the 80,000 requested under 2021 in capital improvement, is that figure built into the budget?
Yes, because they had asked and it just came to fruition before we got to that year.
Okay. Go ahead, Jay, sorry.
As much as anything else, I look at this as a health and safety issue. I'm really concerned when I learned that the deteriorating tank could create aviation issues with airplanes spilling. You know, I think we'd be short-sighted to go with the smaller tank when we just talked about how many new hangars we have and how we're leasing and all this kind of stuff. I think it would be short-sighted. As much as I hate to go in the hole, I don't see a real way around this. That's my opinion.
Is this 80,000 going to drive our budget deficit further in, or was that 80,000 already built into the budget? That's what I'm asking.
Build in, it's not gonna drive us down.
Because I'm showing at the moment with $287,500 in the red
For capital,
for capital.
which 150 of that approximately, I don't have my sheet, is the new finance
Right.
assessor and treasurer system.
This 80 doesn't make that bigger.
It does,
Yeah.
but it's in there,
It's in there.
yes.
It's already,
It's already, yeah, it's already
So
there.
it's already bigger.
it's
but
already
there.
bigger, yeah.
We're not gonna add
So-
another 80,000
Yeah,
to
right.
the deficit.
Yes.
Before we move forward with this, let's have a conversation about your other ask. Who's in charge of that? Because maybe we want to have some consideration for the other. I don't know. Brian, didn't mean to run you out, but
That's
I
fine.
just thought,
I
I'm trying to
appreciate
keep a
it.
schedule and we said
Yeah.
this is what we need to say in
Okay.
front of you, whatever you.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, the other was the salary.
Manager.
And we went back and had a meeting after we met with you guys, that budget day. Mr. Jolly was pretty quiet. You could tell he was thinking, so I asked him what was he thinking. He come up with the thought that he would help Mr. McDonald with the manager duties, split it through the 10. Also, I think, did you say the salary per hour would change? Anyway, we cut the whole thing in half, if I remember right.
From 32 to 16,
Yeah, with Mr. Jolly's help.
all these mucks out there in the hallway agree with that. Huh?
Yeah,
Everybody was in.
yeah, we're just trying to make it work for all concerned.
Okay, that's a nice concession. I appreciate you working on that.
So,
That has to be a general fund
Yes,
deficit, correct?
yes, and it's about 43,000.
Because of insurance.
It's just the fund balance of the airport is just not fluid at this moment.
Right.
So we would have to transfer from the
Sure.
general fund to make that backfill.
So the current existing deficit in their fund balance plus 16,000 takes us to about 43.
Yep.
Yep. Which is an internal thing, but
right.
we need to be aware of that nonetheless, so.
So we were just trying to come up with a way to, for sure, we need the fuel system. We wanted to stick with that. We tried to nibble at the salary a little bit to see how we could make that work for everybody. And still get some sort of salary for a manager who's been working his tail off out there.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I think we are aware that you guys aren't in here wanting to take care of the airport that you own. This is a county-owned airport. It's an asset to the county, and I appreciate the efforts on the salary for the manager's position, and hopefully a year down the road, we'll see enough growth out there to justify.
Both in sales of fuel and
and
paint.
that's what we're hoping. If we just start small and we'll build from there.
What's group's plan?
Yeah.
I'll move, we accept the recommendation to buy the tank and we're gonna roll the salary into it and do that separate.
So the salary would be 16,000 instead of 32,000?
Yeah.
I'm looking at my sheet.
Yes.
632.
Is that correct,
Let's
guys?
do them one at a time.
Let's keep it
Yeah.
simple that way. All right, let's do the tank first. Recommendation for 80.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second
It's
it.
been moved and seconded to authorize the purchase of a 12,000 gallon fuel tank. At this point, at the budgeted amount of 80,000, I'm not going to say not to exceed 80,000 because there've been 80,500 and you have to kill the deal. That's crazy. So, but for the budgeted amount of $80,000, further discussion?
If the only point would be if it's cheaper than that, then you can roll that back into the
Yeah,
budget other side. So
And that money obviously earmarked out of capital, capital improvement. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of authorizing the purchase of 12,000 gallon fuel tank for 80 grand, say aye. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Prince. Opposed? Motion carries.
Something that can be done through the winter months, or do they need to wait till it warms up to do?
What's scheduled, Brian?
What was the schedule on that?
Order within 30 and 60 to 90 delivery. Let me make sure we're at.
Okay.
I want to misquote. Quote is valid for 60 days, 50% down payment required when placing the purchase order, 90 to 120 days to installation. So this quote was received on 10/7. So we got 60 days on that. So that's till December 7th in round figures. And then 50% down required when we place the PO, and then 90 to 120 days to install. And
Okay, so order in January
Yes. So that they pass it, they
would be,
to pass. We can pay January 2nd with a handwritten check, but we need, since delivery with an expense of 50% down, they need to be in the same calendar.
So is your plan then to put the pad in before it freezes? Be ready for that delivery in February or whatever it is?
it would be my recommendation, go ahead and move out on that if we had the funding before the end of the year. And then we could ask them to extend this quote by a month into January, if that's what needs to happen.
yeah, the deposit and the purchase price both need to occur in January, in 2021.
Right.
Okay, let me work with them.
Can you get the specs on the pad and pour it yet this fall or not?
That's what I was asking.
Or is it gonna go right where the other tank is?
No, it's
No, that picture, you got that picture still?
I don't know.
It should be right behind
I don't
the
have,
pump and the card
I
reader.
think Bob made it.
You remember where the current reader is, the card reader, where the airplane.
Yes.
We're gonna, in concept, put the tank just behind that.
Behind meaning to the east or the north?
Yes.
East and some south, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where the
You're gonna make a bigger area so it's easier to tap
Here's a
in.
smaller one, if you want to just glance real quick about it. So it would sit right behind the pump and,
Right, okay. And the other tank would be sitting right in here right now.
yeah, it's off, would be off over this, yeah.
I just wondered if you could get a jump on the weather by having the pad poured.
It'd be fantastic if you could.
That's why I asked the
Line all that
question.
up.
We'll work at that.
That should be the plan before it freezes.
Now, for some reason, we can't get this extended and they have to order it before the end of the year. Is that an issue? Is that a deal stopper?
It's not, but the auditors will put it back into the other year, and it will show us over on our
Right.
capital outlay expenses.
So way better if we can do it in 2021.
I'm gonna make the call right now and
Well, they got a commitment from us.
I'll get-
We could probably
get right
come up
back
with
to
a $10 or $5,000 on
Deposit.
earnest money or something, if they wanted to.
I would move that we authorize putting in $16,000 in the 2021 budget for the airport to pay for the manager's salary.
I'll second.
We moved and seconded to authorize $16,000 line item expense to cover manager's salary. Discussion. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of authorizing the $16,000 line item in the airport budget for manager's salary, say aye. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Prince,
Aye.
opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you guys very, very
You
much.
bet. You're welcome.
The rest of our budget, the numbers stayed the same. We're good with everything else.
All right, Ms. Donna, we good back there? You?
Unless you can get rid of $269, so it could just be an even $40,000.
Yeah.
So other than that, no, it's fine.
All right, thank you. All right. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's
Party.
Okay.
Oh, all right, sir, thank you.
Thank you guys very, very
Yes, we
much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
for your work
Good job,
and,
guys.
Thanks.
Representing us.
Session, that was a good deal. I appreciate
Doing a
it.
good job.
Donna,
Keep it up.
Okay, next,
Donna,
I didn't bring my paper.
You got an invoice?
so
Efficiency.
we were in the same before,
Yeah, whenever, there's no.
what we just did today, is that gonna increase our deficit?
That will, no, that'll come off.
Oh.
See, it goes on to this one, but goes off of the overall.
So this is, we're still right here then.
Nope, you can take 16 off of there.
right,
1,000.
because we were at 32, right?
Right, and I'm just doing this so that I knew how much fund balance, so we didn't have a boo-boo.
Okay,
I got to run. and
That's
grab it,
fine.
I'm sorry.
would you call, Donna, if you don't mind, we'll call and see if she wants to come in. If not, we'll just deal with her hard copy.
Okay.
That's handled.
Virginia,
We're not.
just ask her if she wanted to come in or is she okay with us dealing with her report?
Well, he's gonna come over.
Thanks for being here early, JC.
Okay. Next item then will be the treasurer's report. We have a hard copy of that. Donna went to her office to get her paperwork, so.
Yep, she came in here last night.
Any questions or comments about treasurer's report?
I read it.
I didn't have any.
I really understand it.
Yeah, I would move we accept the report as presented.
I'll second.
Moving and seconded to accept the treasurer's report. Discussion, any further discussion? And I did ask her about that very thing, Jay, and she said, anytime you guys have a question or questions, just let me know and I'll come in and answer them to the best of her ability. I said, well, it would be a challenge for me to even ask an intelligent question on a couple of these. But she said she'd be willing to do that anytime, so.
Appreciate that.
Public comment? Actually, we're in staff reports. Why am I asking for public comment? Gee.
Because we're voting.
All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Flower, aye. Mr. Cannon,
Changes it up every meeting. Aye.
Commissioner Prince,
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Report has been accepted.
Hey, we're running ahead, huh?
Am I up?
Yep.
All right.
You can hand that to Ms. Carol while you're up, please. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. IT report is next on the agenda.
Yes, sorry.
Been whirlwind, hasn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Right now, we're working on finding a new place for each of the signs. Apparently, in order to put those variable messaging board signs on CDOT right of way, we actually have to have a state permit. So Adrian is going through the process of doing that. They're technically supposed to be out for a week or two, and then they're supposed to be moved. So we're trying to find county property that we could actually set them on that are still visible.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean, catch your breath for a second.
Yeah, anyway.
Wait a minute. So every 2 weeks they move them. And then,
Unless we have that permit.
right. And right. So he's getting that, and he can leave them wherever we want. Meantime, can you put them back on highway somewhere else, or does it have to go off the highway for?
They have asked us to move them off the highway until we have the
We
permit.
couldn't move it 1,000 yards the other way.
Right. So we are
Till we get the permit.
trying to find county-owned property that are still visible from all the roads so that we can actually put them someplace that we can manage them until we get that permit. So that's
Good.
so we were just working on a map for that. We do change those. We changed them for the snowstorm. We have stay COVID safe. We have feel ill, stay home, and we have protect yourself and others right now on there. Apparently, they also have a rule that you can only put 3 different messages if they're displayed on the highway. So we have truncated our
If they're displayed in a highway right of way.
if they're displayed on the highway right away. Yep.
If it's on private property, we can do whatever we want.
Well, then we have to talk to planning and zoning because then we have a big sign that violates. So we need to.
For the town.
Yeah, so we need to, there's process here we're working on and we're getting through it, but we want to keep that information going out there and keep people on task. So.
Well, in the short term, but until we get that permit from CDOT, which is what we were working on before we ever got the signs, actually.
Yeah.
I believe I can say that we could move the north sign onto private property right over the.
Pretty easy, yeah.
I believe I can get us permission to set that sign up there, which I don't think will be a visibility issue because we're only talking about 20 feet.
So is that on the
are you
other side of
thinking
the
about
fence from where it is right now?
Right across the fence from where it's at now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then the sign on the east, interestingly enough, the county owns the property right across the fence from it.
Ah, okay.
So we could certainly ask commissioners if we could put the sign on county property.
Out there.
East, south. I've never seen the sign south, so I don't even know where it's at.
It's just
Right
north
across
of
from
Senator
Cypher's,
Crystal Electric.
or Cypher's
Uh-huh.
entrance and
Yeah,
that park, that business park.
that area, yeah.
That's north.
Just north of Senator Crystal Electric. We
My
do actually,
question was, where was the sign at south? I've never seen that.
That's where it was.
Right by Sanger.
it's just north of Senator Crystal Electric. And there, we do actually own a road right of way, about another mile south of that we could actually place it on, that the county owns. So we're just.
Yeah, I think we have options if,
There's a lot of options.
if the state's wanting us to move those fairly quickly. I'm leaving town today, but if you'll let me know that for a fact, I can make a phone call and see about moving the one north of town.
Okay.
See, the one north would go where then, Tom? It's right across from where you said where it is.
Yeah, on the other side of the barbed wire fence from where it's currently
Yeah,
sitting.
that'd be a good place for it.
And by consent, I would ask, or is there objection to putting the one on the east side of town onto the county property?
I don't think we have to ask at all. You got it. Sounds logical, right?
Well,
Consensus.
Absolutely. I'm just asking. I mean, it's got to come through the commissioners.
Right.
Yeah, as am I. So
Okay.
I would think that would be an option there. Probably be a little further north because it's more than 20 feet to the barbed wire fence from that existing sign, but
We do own a lot of property in there. We
That
can
whole
figure out
stretch
which
clear to
one
the-
is most visible for most number of
there's
vehicles.
that big culvert that goes under the highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that would be a reasonable alternative for the short term. Now, if CDOT comes back and says, okay, we'll give you a permit to. I'll be totally amazed if they do, but
Okay,
we'll see.
understood.
Yeah, good. Okay, good.
Moving forward on the purchases that you guys authorized me for last time I was here, we do have the new card printer. We have multiple temperature tablets that we're setting up. A couple of them are on order, just staging the purchases so that we can make certain everything's paid for in the right amount of time. Let's see,
Before we move
Yes.
on, if you will keep sending me the digital copies of the paperwork for
Okay.
that.
with it,
I don't really need the hard copy, but
understood.
I do need digital of proof of payment.
Okay,
Then I'll forward those on to the committee via an application.
yes, sir.
And this is one of the tablets back there.
This is what, and I can set it up and show you how it works. It's pretty simple. The functionality is amazing on these. There's a port in the back that we could literally wire to doors wherein takes a picture. If there's facial recognition, if it doesn't recognize your face, the door doesn't open, that type of thing. It's pretty, and so we're using it for a certain amount of its functionality, but there's a huge amount that we have access to and that we can use, for instance, the sheriff's department or places that need this, that need a higher level of security in the future, that type of thing. So it's really nice.
Well, I would just encourage all of us to make darn sure these don't become a coat rack and a dust collector. We bought them, we need to be using them.
Well, I think that would, I think we need some type of policy. There's also the possibility that we could use it as a time clock where people, we can literally use it to check in. Some of the tablets that I'm ordering has RFID capabilities, so you can you have it on your keychain, you clock in, it takes your temperature, and then you actually have a record of when people come and go for the county building, that whole deal. So there's a lot of functionality, and we just need to figure out a policy to make certain everybody uses it. I also have the temperature thermometers, the highly accurate thermometers, so that departments can be taking the temperature during,
So you want to recommend a policy? You get with Don?
I guess we could do that.
Somebody's got to.
Yes, I'll write that one in my spare
I
time.
wonder if a workshop would be appropriate.
I think that would be.
But that's up to you guys. You could come and you could decide if that's, get it with the departments, figure out
what each department wants to see.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Maybe there's otherwise.
I think if we have a workshop and bring
Right.
the departments that are affected by it, which is everyone.
Right.
And see. Yeah, we don't want it to just sit in the back of the room. It doesn't stop the spread of anything if it sits in the back of the room.
Right,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
What about 17th of November, Tuesday,
Okay.
in the mornings?
That'll be fine. We got
a meeting in the afternoon.
I have no
Okay.
issue with that.
All right.
One thing I would recommend is in order to, I think you guys ought to get together and rather than hitting us all cold and wasting a lot of time with
Okay.
everybody, come to us with a recommendation of the options.
I can write something and send something to all the department heads and.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than having everybody come in. So what's this all about? Or even if they knew, let's get some real discussion so we understand the issues when they come up.
Okay, I understand that. I will write something together, send it out to all the department heads and elected officials that would be
Workshop
affected by
doesn't
it.
have to last more
How about 10 o'clock
All right.
on the 17th?
Okay.
later the better.
Just call it a COVID workshop. Ten AM, we'll figure 10 to 12. And we can do some pre-work
All right.
ahead of time. So, Ms. Carey, if you'll make a note, we'll need to get that posted Monday morning, the 16th.
Yes, I'll have it posted
Thank
today.
you, appreciate it. We'll do an agenda, we just call it a COVID
COVID workshop.
workshop.
Okay.
Gentlemen, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I interrupted you, so
No,
sorry.
no, please, no. It's your meeting, sir. The other thing, my intern did not work out. His schedule changed at his other job, so I don't have an intern. I wanted to seek permission to post a job or to hire somebody as an assistant.
Part-time, full-time?
Part-time.
So nothing. Not an impact on the benefit, it's just contract labor, basically. Or be part-time employee.
Part-time employee, I think would, yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Would this be with the same job description that Alex had?
Well, Alex, we created an assistant position and we created the PIO. And I've absorbed most of the PIO stuff. And I think this is the assistant position. I feel like the PIO needs to be a more involved process because an assistant for me, Alex fit both bills, but an assistant may not fit both bills.
How many hours are you?
Say again?
How many hours are you thinking your part-time person?
24 tops.
So what's salary?
Or excuse me, 3 days, 7 hours a day. So 21.
What kind of salary are you thinking?
Well, I was paying Alex 1560, I think.
Yeah, 1560 or 1570.
Okay.
I can't remember. Are you thinking before the end of the year?
I need someone as soon as I can. Yeah, exactly.
I understand how hard it
Because if we approve the budget as of January, that'll go to 17.
Okay. I'll have to rewrite my budget then, because I didn't calculate for $17 an hour. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. He won't have to worry about that, will he, Donna?
If it's that close, then
Right.
we probably need it.
Well, I think that's absolute necessity, and if you need a motion for this, I'll move that we authorize IT director to immediately advertise, and upon a successful candidate, hire someone part-time, 3 days a week, 7 hours a day, to assist you in your duties.
3 days a week is the correct number.
Yes, sir.
Been moved and seconded to authorize IT to hire an assistant. Further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Grant, opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Walter.
Yes, sir. What
All right.
else?
I think that's it. Is there anything you need from me?
You sent out something about the earbuds, and I have.
Yes.
to-
Oh, that's right. We were
I
going
have
to
to
talk about that.
confess, I did not read it, so could you give me a quick update on it?
For about $80, they are wireless noise canceling earbuds. They come with a charging case that plugs into your computer, and the earbuds themselves are wireless. They actually charge in the case wirelessly.
Yeah.
So you set them in there, and they, like I said, they're noise canceling. They are Bluetooth enabled, so you would just pair them to your computers, and they would be dedicated to the computer.
Okay, so can I just make a comment if I may, please? I wear hearing aids, so it won't, probably will work for me, but here's what I'd like to do. I have a really good set of noise canceling headphones that go over. And since in a month or 2 or 3, I'm gonna be replaced, and I'd rather not have my ear wax in the new person's.
Understood.
Earbuds.
Suggest maybe if we approve to buy it, I would like you to help me set up my headphones, and then we can leave the pristine set for my new replacement.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
The difference being with the earbuds is that they are also a microphone. So,
I think mine,
oh, you are,
I
they
have
are.
like
Okay.
$400 Bose
Okay.
headphones that
Nice.
you can answer phone calls. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I don't know how to
Excellent.
use it. but
Perfect. Then I will set, if you want to bring that to me, I will set it up for your computer. Absolutely.
I'll bring it to you.
Absolutely.
And so if we approve this, that would work
Okay.
better for me, but I'm not
Okay.
trying to kill earbuds.
Mhm.
It's just not for me personally the right way to go.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think we had talked the other day, he was gonna give us a price.
Yeah.
We can handle it with a motion, or we can just ask him to make that purchase.
I think he's already doing it, so that's
Yeah,
good.
that'd be great. So 30 cents.
Um,
Hold one.
Would you like me to get 4 just in case one malfunctions?
Only 30, but what are they? What
They're
price?
about $70 a piece. They're,
But,
yeah. Oh, okay.
Doesn't- doesn't
which is
hurt.
about $70.
Yes. Well, when you work in the small tax that we have to.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's up to you, whatever you think is appropriate as far as I'm concerned.
What's that?
Get it a spare.
Okay, I will do that. Definitely.
I think there'd be times when if we were in a meeting and Kara had to be on that phone, or
Okay.
I don't know if we can connect him with the phone or not, should be able to, but
They can connect to a phone. Basically, they're Bluetooth. Anything Bluetooth enabled will work good. Yep.
all right, we'll trust your judgment.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Before we move on,
Yeah.
Don, if you don't mind, Brian must have a quick something or other.
I just want to get back to you real quick. I
Yeah,
got
come on in.
the written confirmation back, spoke with them on the phone, and they have extended the quote be valid till the 14th of February.
Oh, perfect.
So
Sweet.
I've also asked them
No,
for their
perfect.
engineering side to give us the specs for the concrete pour, so we do
Do
the
it right.
proper
Balustrades, we can put those
ITSI,
wherever we want.
rebar, et cetera. That's all.
Sweet, all right, thank you.
Thanks for that
Yeah,
update.
Appreciate it. All right, next up, treasurers,
Treasurer?
human resource finance.
Oh, we skipped ahead, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, so.
Make sure it sounds good.
Thanks for coming over earlier, Steve, John, appreciate that.
Mine's short and sweet. And there's that one. The one.
So.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we got this email correct on the dedicated service. You have a list of who
Not
They're having too much fun.
That's not,
We put the fun back in this function.
you have a list of the eligible employees.
Not by name, but I know who they are.
Okay. Not everybody gets this, or is it automatic if we approve it?
Like if we
Like we
hired
did
someone
last
this month, no,
Correct,
No,
but
so
that
that's-
fall into this
they all
category.
fall into this category with what, at the moment, I figured that that was the price.
Is that the same as we did last year?
Yes.
I move that we approve the dedicated service for
Award.
this year.
Okay,
I'll second
you don't have an amount to that or not?
Well,
it. Not to exceed the amount she's got.
of
Approximately, let's say
approximately
It'll go up or down.
$8,400. Because there may be,
You know, let's say there was 2 days difference between the 30 and the 60, and
That's
the
why I'm
elected
saying
official chose to go
approximately.
60, then I might be a
Transparency,
little
I
bit
think
off.
we need $1.
Yeah, I could be a little bit off.
Yeah.
I just trying to let you know the price of what you were okaying to the best.
Been moved, yeah, thank you for that. I mean, it'd be weird to do it without. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the dedicated service awards for 2020 and in the amount of approximately $8,400. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I would also move that we approve the handwritten checks as presented for the month of October, $188,656.39,
I'll second it.
of which a large portion, that's CBRF.
Yes.
Coming back,
Yep.
hopefully.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the handwrittens for the month of October. Discussion. Let me just look real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 11 out of roughly 30 of these are non-CBRF, so really the
Majority of the
guess
cost.
out of that, probably 100,000, that's gonna be, well, we know
Is.
roughly that. Yes, ma'am.
Can you say the total
I
again?
can, 188,656.39.
Thank you.
Anytime, just holler, because kind of forget about figures for the minutes. Here, other discussion? We will proceed to vote. All in favor of the approving the handwrittens, say yes, sir.
For public comment?
No, because we're still in staff reports. I don't know why I got
That's
off
right.
onto that. I spaced
There's
that.
no reason.
All in favor, say aye. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Print,
Aye.
opposed. Motion carries. Those have been approved. And we're up to date on the handwrittens for CVRF that you're aware of?
Those
Okay.
were everything I
Uh,
received up
I've
until.
got, I think, one that I'm waiting to submit on a new application, but should be good there, yes.
How we doing on your assistant?
I would love to have time to, I'm trying to carve out time where I can not do one in 1 week and the next one 3 weeks later, where I can go with the first one had that I'm not. So it's just been a struggle.
Okay.
Anything we can do to help? Probably not.
But thank you.
Come in there and do your job, free you up for that. That ain't happening.
So is it advertised?
It
It was.
was,
Oh,
and
well,
I
I
have
just
the
asked if I did.
applicants, I just have, you know, if one of these don't particularly work out, then I would re-go.
But we're not still paying to advertise it now. That time period is closed. So, morning, sir.
So the plan is then what?
That I will try to conduct interviews as soon as possible and get
Okay.
someone on board.
Okay, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. OEM. Morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you? I'm gonna sit back here.
Okay, thanks for the report. You can slide, yeah.
Okay.
Move that out of the way. Thanks for
How are you
sending
guys
us
today?
your report ahead of time. Appreciate that. And as soon as we're done with the OEM report, we'll move into new business. All right, sir, floor is yours.
I think October was a unique month. The one thing that kind of put a little bit of anxiety in my heart was, the COVID situation. And I just want to say on that, I get in and speak with Clifford each day. Spoke with him again this morning. And the trend, one of my jobs is to look at trends. We have an uptick throughout the whole country with COVID. It's my understanding that the virus may have mutated. And we're dealing with a different virus than we were dealing with in February of 2020. And so we're monitoring it. And with that in mind, we need to have a dedicated place that we can open up an EOC if we needed to. We need to find a place where we can do that without having to get permission to have an EOC activated.
Tell me what that is.
Currently, the Emergency Operations Center.
You want a place other than public health?
Well, wet mountain fire is a wonderful place to do
Right.
it. But there is anxiety when you're opening it up and having it COVID related.
You have any suggestions?
I'm starting to look at.
You're just telling us you're in the
different places.
process of looking.
Yes, so I'm looking, the logical place is the SARS building. Because we can regulate who comes in and out of that building. That to me would be the logical place. It's a more logical place, in my opinion, than having it at the public health department, because there's just a lot of other activity that is happening there. And we want to be involved, but we want to be kind of isolated as well.
So you're talking about an EOC specifically for COVID.
You need to have an EOC specifically for COVID. Now, that's a good question, Tom, but I think in a COVID environment, we need to have a place where we can conduct our business, do so safely, and still have the.
Not necessarily an emergency ops center, but it'd be business for the specific.
Well, yes, because if we have to have a public meeting or a public hearing, we need a large enough space where we can do that and yet be protected of the people who are coming and the people who are presenting. And so I just need to look for a facility where we could do that. And I would prefer to do that before we have an incident than do it in the midst of an incident. So that would be one of the concerns. So that's the COVID concern.
Dave, go ahead and ask questions.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but will you come to us with a formal recommendation, or are you just planting a seed at this point?
I will look for some suitable buildings and, even looking beyond simply a medical kind of emergency during a COVID environment. But we might need a place for you folks to be able to meet reasonably, to have meetings. So we just need to find a place that we have kind of under some sort of agreement that in the event that this thing goes in the direction none of us hope it goes.
I understand that, and I think it's probably a very reasonable idea. The question really was logistics. Is that something that you would make? You would say, here are the 3 places I found, I recommend this one, or how?
That would be the likely way that I
How would you
would
like
do.
to proceed?
Yes, I would just like the approval to be able to look for some alternate places.
I think that's
To
fine.
make a recommendation to the BOCC as an operations center.
For COVID EOC
It's not
right now. We're not talking about fire.
Specifically for COVID.
in a COVID environment. You're trying to keep it COVID related. It's not necessarily an emergency ops center initially. It could be just like you said, a place to meet to bring people aware or whatever.
What I'm saying is that whether you have a health emergency during a COVID epidemic or a fire emergency or whatever kind of emergency you have, we need to have a place where we know the EOC will be so that we can do what we're charged to do in the emergency.
Okay.
And COVID is just one kind of incident that we have.
Because if it wasn't a COVID environment, then you would probably recommend the fire station or something
That
else.
is correct.
Okay, that's,
If it wasn't a
Just to make it
COVID
clear.
environment, we already have a place,
right.
which is the fire
And the
station.
reason is because of the nearness of the people that might be infected in other areas. So that's why you want to have a
I think
specific.
what you're suggesting sounds very reasonable. If you could come back to us with alternatives, we can
Not a problem.
work on it, make a decision.
And with that in mind, I know you have one in my report, but on November 18th, we are going to do a tabletop exercise here in the county.
What time does it start?
It starts at 0900 and it's scheduled to go till 1500, but we will likely conclude it sooner than that. But we've given ourselves a,
We will not be involved. on the
We have a
event.
conflict.
yes, I knew you had a conflict.
So let's go back a minute now. Obviously, regardless whether it's COVID or not, doesn't matter to me. If we have a fire incident, most likely we will use the firehouse as the EOC. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so that tabletop exercise, I mean, if you shake loose and your meeting doesn't go long, we would love to have you there just to come in and out for support.
All right. We just scheduled another meeting the
Yes.
same day,
I
so.
know you did.
Well, we had a mini meeting anyway. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you have to consider those, so we would, if we have a fire,
Right,
if the fire board would allow us to use the
exactly.
fire
That's where I,
process and EOC, I mean, we've tried to have a couple other things and they
Right.
said, no, we could not.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the same dilemma with the SAR bond, because SAR controls that,
Right.
that's not, and so
Right, not a
SAR will
given.
not allow that to be an EOC, I'm just telling you right now.
yeah, I had made a note here to ask about the authority to open an EOC. We don't have that at the fire station. We don't have it at search and rescue.
No, we don't.
No, we're not.
The county has it at public health, probably have it at the airport, but that's about it. And anywhere else, we got to ask.
Right.
And so then,
Yeah. I don't know about the Wetmore Community Building, if we could do it there, I don't know. I don't
But that's,
wouldn't have to
that's what
ask.
you're gonna go
I don't
research.
think-
Butch is gonna look at all those options and bring them back.
probably could.
since we own that building, we
Sure.
wanted to dedicate that as an EOC, I think we could.
Let me
Who
throw out
has
one
the
more.
final authority to say, I'm opening an EOC today?
And that's part of the research you'll need to do and come to us and say, here's a good spot. They won't let us.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
crossed over.
If we have to
that.
work it, we work it.
How about the basement in this building?
Probably not.
Unless
We
you
got
evacuate
issues,
everybody.
been
else.
told not to have any activities in the basement by our insurance company.
Okay.
So the authority to open an EOC lies with OEM?
Yes, sir.
Or is
Fire
it-
chief can do it, I can do it.
Okay.
And then we just work the issue of where.
Right.
Give us the
But it's
recommendation.
better to have the where answer.
Sure, you got options on your, yeah, absolutely.
And we should enter into some IGAs as we go along, I would think as well, so. Okay, very good. All right,
And so the tabletop on the 18th, we have the HAZ mitigation process that is going to start. And that will be for the next 9 months or so. And that's pretty much what's happening.
and I understand you've lost one of your volunteers.
I did, and she was a good volunteer, and we shared her cooperatively or collaboratively with the sheriff's office and with SARS. And so, but we gained 2 more, so it's it's a good thing. Net gain,
Good, good. Okay.
that's it. It's a learning thing. I there is no day that's the same.
Gives you a good reason to get out of bed in the morning, doesn't it?
Amen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, appreciate it. Had a lot of positive comments, so I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right.
Okay, appreciate it, Adrian. Nice report too. Thank you. Any unfinished business, gentlemen?
No,
I have nothing.
Nor do I.
possibly a break to unfinished.
Yeah, are you jammed up? Can we do a bathroom break real quick, a couple minutes? Without objection, we'll stand in recess for 3 minutes.
Clinton, Dennis over here, so he must be okay.
And we we got rid of an agenda item to make room for you.
Did you?
Yeah, we don't mess
You
around.
seem pretty broke up about that too.
You're the only thing on the agenda.
Yeah, so that's what Tom said. It's like that.
Gotta do something. You around all day, Shannon?
Yeah, it should be.
I may swing by after the meeting.
Okay.
Go with you for a minute.
Okay.
Need to, but you've been hard to catch up.
Construction.
Expected to
Kitchen's coming.
out because I started packing at 5:30 this morning, did not finish. I plan to finish here very quickly.
I'm here because y'all want me here. I'm not here to.
Speaking of being somewhere, I have a meeting with Nate Eckloff with Piper Sandler. And he had asked that you attend as well.
Okay.
I will give you that. It's the night. Sheriff's Office budget. We will ask for public comment prior to any vote if one becomes necessary. Any of the new items, new business items. All right, sir. So I think it kind of fell through the cracks for me personally. I can't speak for my fellow commissioners that when we discussed the salary range of increasing it for the law enforcement personnel that we believe deserve a little higher salary, one for the nature of their job and two, to try to be competitive for your department, we agreed, I'm just going to throw this number out, like an increase in salary for those folks that I think average around 17%. 19. But I did not stop to think about your administrative, the impact on administrative salaries at the same time. So I think, gentlemen, stop me anytime, commissioners, but I think the request here would be that you consider or reconsider the 2% salary increase for whatever positions that are not, I call it frontline law enforcement. Does that make sense? What I'm saying,
I understand.
that's what I'm asking, if you understand what I'm getting at. Okay.
Yes, I do.
I'm not asking whether you agree with it, I'm just asking.
No, I
to make
understand.
myself clear. So, and I believe that detention folks fall into that frontline law enforcement because they have day-to-day contact with inmates, correct?
Correct.
And they don't work 8 to 4.
No, they do not.
They are on a floating 24-hour schedule, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
That's correct.
Did I represent our conversation appropriately, commissioners?
I feel comfortable. You said exactly what we were concerned about.
Okay. And I believe that would affect your admin assistant and your evidence technician. Are there others that I'm not aware of?
Those would be the two.
Okay. Your feelings about that?
So, I certainly understand and see how you would view that and would be that. My only disagreement or concern, I don't know how we want to counteract that thought, specifically on the admin manager, not as much on the evidence tech, because that evidence tech, he's part-time to begin with. And if, something came up and he couldn't come on Tuesday, he could come on Wednesday. It's not like he's set in schedule. The only where in reference to Paula is that she's an essential worker, right? I mean, so when COVID hit and the rest of the county admin people didn't have to come to work, guess where Paula was? She's at work.
Right.
If it snows 2 feet on the ground and the county building closes and the admin people don't come to work, guess what Paula gets to do? She gets her butt to work and she shows up at work because functions don't stop at the sheriff's office. And so, so she's not a front line, doesn't wear a vest, doesn't wear a badge. I get that argument. I get that point. Certainly not, I'm certainly not trying to even sell that she does or is. And so if you guys are like, yeah, but she still does admin work, she does all that. I mean, I could get that. I get that, but then I would just suggest, or I would think that maybe I need to change my mindset that she's not an essential worker. And so if it shuts down, then she doesn't come to work. She gets to be just like everybody else in the county.
From my seat, I would agree with that. If a blade hand or the assistant road boss, are they essential workers? I don't know.
Yeah, and again, right, so we're just having the conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you see where I'm at on it. You see how I balance up.
Now,
Hold on a second, because I disagree a little bit. It's just a point. I just want to get another issue out on the table so we can have a well-rounded discussion here.
Yeah.
Not that I disagree with the frontline guys, if we call them that. Excuse me, just choked up. Sorry.
Wrong.
Good grief. Too much of that coffee carries me. No, yeah, it's okay. Here's how I view it, because I've been through this in the military, and as you have, and in other areas, and I happen to agree with you on people that are frontline, and I look at frontline as in combat or in an environment that's very hazardous. Okay, in all organizations, and most of them, they have those kinds of people. And I hate to use the word non-essential because, non-essential is kind of crazy. And even the COVID environment, you got to have people making food or you die if you're all non-essential and hiding. So, but anyway, the point is, I'll use a generic term. Let's just take it to the military example. Sarge is a sarge in all jobs, admin, whatever. And the admin people also get promoted in those same grades at the same pay levels. It's a scale that's common across the whole organization, no matter what that admin is doing. And some of those admins are in more critical positions and their bosses won't let them go. And they still get paid the same. You got to be here just for the same reason you just identified. On a hazardous duty is what they call the other piece. Hazardous duty involves a lot of things. I was on a centrifuge as a lieutenant because I wanted $100 more a month hazardous duty pay, and because every dime counted, and I was at 10 G's blowing my brains out the same as the other guys were, kind of. Mm-hmm. Or you go into combat and you get combat pay because of that wearing the vest. I see the same thing with you guys. It is worth more because people are putting their lives at risk. Seriously.
Right.
And now, can I finish real quick? Okay.
I was just raised my hand.
Oh, I thought you were asking me. Well, go ahead. If you got a question that pertains. I like discussions, as you know.
Go for it.
So, Shannon, I believe, as in the other organizations, you have different levels of that hazard. And I don't think a detention officer has the same hazards as a guy out on the line, on the road or wherever. I know it's dangerous. I know we could have even lost a person just recently with a jailbreak. I understand that. And so that's something that we had, and it's not about trying to make pay equal or enough pay so that people can afford to live, because we could never pay anybody enough to have somebody buy a house up here in states. It's hard to retain guys. I understand that. But we have to be equitable and so that the people that are involved understand why those scales are different. So I don't mean to say that the detention officer should receive the same as an admin, for sure. But I just wanted to make sure, it seems like you've made a square deal across the whole thing that might be, the same, I don't know. Something to think about is all I'm.
Well, with my proposal, the detention deputies don't make the same as the patrol deputies.
Right, except I think we had a problem with the lower ends and whatever.
But they did get an increase.
They got an increase.
Yes.
And that's what we want to make sure, but it's got to be understood to me. It's a lot easier for people to understand that it's not the same as the patrol officer
No, it's
down on
not.
the street. And that doesn't come through very loud and clear to the
Well,
public.
anybody that wants to look, I mean, I
know you. I don't have an issue with that. Just trying. No, I know. I'm trying to get this on the public record because it's not. We're not just saying, oh, we're treating the sheriff real special. We're not.
Yeah.
We look at all these pay raises, and that admin has the same issues. Because that admin, it's only non-essential because you said it was, because you need that admin. Now, is it worth you taking some budget to pay an extra amount of money? That's a good argument that you can make, but you just have to be careful.
Yeah, fair enough.
Prince, you had something?
Go ahead.
Looking at your budget, your admin is very highly paid for Custer County. But what really gets me is the sales pitch on why I agreed to bust the budget in terms of 2% versus 19% was a valid argument that we're losing good deputies to various locations. And I was reluctant even to do that because I know that salary is not the total bottom line. Housing, food, recreation, all those things that go into when a deputy or detention, when I say deputy, I'm talking detention also, because I absolutely agree that is a frontline worker that needs education. So I was a little concerned about, well, if we just boost their salary, we're going to be able to keep them or attract more people. I personally wasn't all that convinced, but at least one major portion of salary, so I went along with this. But I don't feel that way about admin. I mean, and I agree with you. Your admin person is there when many other employees in the county are not. But we also have lots of employees in the county that show up on snow days and do things that they have to because they're required to do it. And they know they're professionals. They get paid professionally and they need to come to work. They come to work. So I'm reluctant to agree with an admin person receiving a significant increase above the other non-essential people in the entire county. And I'm slightly different than how Bill feels, or maybe he feels the same way, didn't say it the way I feel. To me, if you're not essential, why am I paying you at all? I mean, everybody's essential, or why we have you? So, then I look at the work you do, are you being paid adequately? And I grant you the frontline workers, no, and I agree to that, but I suspect the admin person is probably should be handled separately like the rest of the county. That's just my opinion, and I'm not beating up on anybody.
No, I don't take that way. I mean, we're having a conversation.
So that's my feeling.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think that, in my opinion, in the sheriff's office, the non-frontline employees should be under the same salary increase as the rest of the county. I'm not going to try to justify that. That's just how I feel about it. So I guess our ask of you would be to either allow us to tell Donna, or you can talk to Donna to say, calculate those raises at 2%, put them in the budget and we move forward, or we continue discussion. It's up to you.
No, so I mean, I shared with you my thoughts on that. I mean, we can, I can certainly adjust with that. I mean, we're realizing right now just how much Paul does and has done, because we're in a really bad place at the sheriff's office because we haven't had an admin manager now. We haven't had anybody in admin
For quite a while.
for coming on a month now. Actually, yeah, right, almost a month.
Volunteer gal, right?
No,
She wasn't
We
doing.
don't have a volunteer anymore. She is
No,
gone. That's
I
gonna
said you
come.
did have.
Oh, right.
Was
And-
she doing some of that or no?
Yeah, she was cross-trained to do much of what Paula did. If Paula, were gone, or, heaven forbid something were to happen. And then when Paula tested positive for COVID and everything, then Kathy decided that she didn't want to be at the office because she didn't want to take a risk. I mean, she's a little older and she didn't want to take that risk. And so we have not had admin services. It's been a struggle. All you have to do is ask Kara or Donna the struggle we've had, doing vouchers and payroll. And then you can talk to the treasurer's office about deposits and how many times I've screwed those up.
Have you, off the topic a little, have you considered trying to find somebody part-time?
Let's finish
Okay.
this
All right.
if that's okay.
Yep.
So I get it. I understand exactly where you guys are coming from. We may differ in opinion a little bit on that, but that's okay. I mean, ultimately, if you're telling me that I need to have the admin folks at the same rate as the county employees, then that's what I'll do. I mean, I'm not here to buck the system. We've been doing budgets a long time. I've been doing it with you guys. You should know by now, I don't buck the system when it comes to that stuff. I mean, because there's only so much money. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's really an equitable thing also with the other employees. I mean, we have to face everybody, and that's part of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to being shorthanded, I think Tom started to allude to, even if we paid a part-time person, I certainly would have no issue with that. You can't do your job without the tools, and I don't mean to call a person a tool, but you know what I mean?
No,
Who can
we're all
handle the
tools.
job, so
We are.
I don't want you to be there struggling if we can help you.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I was going to bring that up after we.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we've agreed on the principal reason you guys wanted to talk to me, right?
Right, exactly.
So let's just delve into that for a minute. So the struggle we have, and the reason, so once Kathy announced, as you may already know this from when Adrian brought it up. So about a week ago that she was gonna step away from volunteering for the, unknown future. But an extended period of time, she has a contract to do some work at home and stuff. So in the budget hearings, if you recall, I had requested a part-time admin person, but then because we had Kathy in the volunteer, I pulled that out of my budget.
Right.
Well, now I'm jammed up. And then what's really compounded that is that, so I bring someone in who trains her.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Paula knows what she's doing.
I understand.
And so if I bring someone in, I'm going to train them wrong.
I got it.
Let me ask you a question.
And so that's why we haven't brought anybody. We potentially have someone that might volunteer.
I'm even suggesting if you need to pay them, I'm going to be on your side. If you say, look, I need $20, $25, whatever it is, to pay a part-time person to fill in, I'm not going to have a big issue with this.
Well, my original proposal was $16 an hour for a part-time admin person. It's about $15,000 a year to do that. Because we all know, right, with volunteers, where you jammed up is they're volunteers.
That's the problem.
Or if you have a paid part-time person and now Paul is out, you say, hey, listen, I need you to come in these days and we'll pay you extra. I'll pay you the hours that you deserve. Or even if you're here 4 hours a day for 5 days a week, just to make sure that anything really critical is not falling through the cracks. You get my point. And so So I would request that maybe we just look at that. I mean, I'm not saying we have to do it, but I'm gonna have to plug that hole.
So Shannon, you
Work
were
is really
talking,
bad.
we zeroed your part-time records clerk. That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
we did. Yeah, that's what I'm bringing. Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
he
I'm
brought
alluding
in
to is,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but
where
that's
we-
the position we're talking
Yes,
about.
sir.
Okay, so yeah, I would not have a problem probably sliding that money back in there, especially given the circumstances. However.
I mean, I would like to avoid it if I can.
Right.
I mean, because again, I understand, but
But there's a
don't
difference
need-
between helping the budget and not having the efficient personnel to do your job. And we're never asking someone not to have the ability to do their.
no, I don't think
if
so.
you,
yeah.
you know, kind of like Donna Hobby, you know, we feel that she is so overworked that we've approved an assistant for her. And I feel if you explain to us, and I believe every word you tell me, that whoever is Paula or whoever's in that position, more than a one-person job, it's a 1.5 person, whatever.
Yeah.
I trust you, and I'm gonna say, you need the tools, you need the tools. I mean, is that, or we'll shut down America, Carmen, we don't need any of you, you know what I'm saying?
I
Which
do.
of course is a ridiculous statement.
Well, certainly the,
Sentinel, but you know what I'm saying.
I hear.
certainly the circumstances have changed when we zeroed that line out.
Yeah,
That's
when
what I'm getting
Kathy decided that really, that came out of
Yeah,
out of nowhere. So
I'm fine putting that back in, to be truthful.
Well,
Yeah.
before you do that, though, one thought, Shannon, we talked about the differences between the detention officers and the others. And whether or not the detention, I know they should be paid more, but not necessarily as much, whatever. Maybe there's a trade to make there to make sure it's all equitable. You can take some of the salary differences if there's a trade to reduce some of the detention, because it looks like the detention salaries aren't much lower monthly. Maybe there is something there that with that, there's a horse trade to make and still keep the other, balance it for the part-time position. See what I'm saying? And that gives you more flexibility. And it also makes sure that people aren't looking, that the different jobs are different and therefore the pay scale is equivalently different, even though it might be more hazardous or it's not essential like an admin. So pretty clear that way. Just comparing it across, maybe you can give it some thought before we just vote on something that would force it to be something that might not be as good for you.
Well, we digested this during the,
I know, but that we didn't,
during the
but we haven't
budget
locked.
hearings.
I know, but we still need to vote and finalize things. It's still open officially.
It's certainly open for discussion, in my opinion.
Budget's not formalized yet.
The point I was going to make, we digested this during the budget hearings based on Shannon's belief that his figures were what he thought was right.
Right.
To ask him now to go back and redo these figures
It's fair.
is not fair, in my opinion, because we've already indicated to him that we feel and that we bought into and believe in his price structure, his salary structure. To me, the question is, do we want to slide 15,000 back in for part-time or not? I don't think it's fair to say you need to go back and trim your salary package that you presented to make room for that 15,000.
Fine, that's your opinion. That's not mine. And that's okay. But it's still, I think it's open personally, because in order to do the right thing, because we had like you mentioned, we had other people worrying about, and like you said, to make it equitable across all employees within the county. They didn't understand the issues here either, and neither did we at the time. And I didn't enough to be able to argue intelligently, and we've had a lot of time to think about it since then, and a better understanding with Shannon too. So makes sense. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Here's what my opinion would be. I'd like to put the 15,000 back in for part-time employee. Exactly what you said. You can never count on volunteers.
Right.
I mean, of course, an employee could quit anyway, also anytime, but there's some.
Remuneration.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I'm fine with leaving. I'm sold on the detention and the deputies, the salary. Let's put admin back. to what's equitable with the rest of the county. Let's put the assistant in, and I'm saying I'm comfortable if we do that.
As am I.
We can vote on it.
I mean, you know, we'll get down to the final budget when we approve it, but we got to give Donna some direction. She's struggling.
Yeah.
She's waiting to try to hammer out this a budget, so.
Can you live with that if we did that?
I'm sorry, sir.
Would that be acceptable with you if we did it?
With what you
Add
said?
the 15,000 for the
Sure.
assistant, and then unfortunately, the admin person be treated like the rest of the employees in the county.
Side note, any idea when your admin's going to return or?
So she has a doctor's appointment today. She's off oxygen. So she's really hopeful she can come back on Monday, but you know, I mean,
She's home now.
yeah, she was only in the hospital for 2.5 days or 3 days. And then was on oxygen. She's been she can come off and do a few things in the ship, but it's been the last 4 days that she's not really had to be on oxygen much at all. You know, when we consider and she lives in Kansas City and she has to come up the hill, then, you know, we all know the air's a little thinner up here. So I don't know how she'll do. I've told her we don't want you rushing back and then, you know, taking a turn for the worse. So we're dragging away. We're using a crutch and trying to get on. And she's been very helpful as far as we can call her and say, okay, I'm sitting on your computer. Where do I go to find this? Walk me through how to do this. So she's been able to help with that. She's been great, but you know, I just don't want her to come back too soon and get and take a
I
turn.
commend you on that.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal.
All right,
Keep
sir.
spraying that office down and you don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, we're also considering buying a couple of foggers for disinfecting.
We bought one.
And I
In my
thought you
office,
did.
yeah.
Now, have you used it?
Oh, yeah, we use it every
Do
day.
you like it?
The one we got, yeah, they seem to like it. It's a little different than the one that,
Mayor Winslow?
Mayor Winslow had.
Anybody have an allergy to it or anything? Can they tell it's in the air?
No, you can smell it in the mornings, but it just has
To leave a
that
film on it?
disinfectant. Not really a film, but you can see the dots, kind of, you know what I'm saying? And so it's there, but
Are there any major precautions? I mean, do they talk about the dangers of spreading the disinfectant? I mean, are we putting people in danger if they come sit at the table? I don't know.
I haven't heard any of that at all.
Dr. Brown to look into that before we bought something. We
Yeah,
just don't know what the ramifications of
Right.
this is.
right.
How often do you do it?
Every evening, every night.
At night?
The nighttime detention deputy, once he locks the inmates get locked down in their pods for the night or their cell for the night. Then they go in, they spray the pod down. It's like a little backpack doodad. So
Like a weed control.
yeah, and
Battery
it
operated?
atomizes better than the one that Silvercliff has.
Okay.
So you don't get the big chunks of water. Before, I definitely noticed it more, as Bill said, with the one that we were using from Silvercliff, because it would spit some droplets pretty good, where this really atomizes better. And I haven't noticed a residue on my desk since then, but
Do you plug it in the wall or?
no, it's battery. It's a battery pack. It's like a,
I'm gonna come look at it.
okay.
What did
yeah.
you pay for it? Do you remember?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember how much it was?
Like $160 for the machine, and then that disinfectant is like
Fairly expensive.
$58 for 4 gallons or maybe $84 for 4 gallons. We bought it in
Does it come in
4
gallon
gallon
can?
packs.
Oh, 4.
It comes in singles or 4, but we just bought 8 gallons because we knew we were gonna be using a lot of it.
Where'd you get it? Do you remember?
Amazon.
No.
Yeah, well, everywhere else that we looked, they were out.
Yeah.
We wanted to get one from Home Depot and they didn't have any. We wanted to go to Lowe's, they didn't have any. The hardware store didn't have any.
Good. You submitted that to this coronavirus relief
Yes, sir.
fund for reimbursement?
Yeah.
Through Vern? Did you go through Vern or do you know?
Kara,
Karen?
I give it to Kara and then we
I
to
gave it to
Braden.
Braden.
So it's in the works, good, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
It's worked out, all right. forward. Wiping down stations, bringing everything up.
Thanks.
All right, sir, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, certainly.
You always
We're all in
are.
it together.
You always are. I mean,
Together.
That's right. I'll be over there a little later.
Okay.
Adrian, go ahead. You had a question or for
Yeah, I just
sheriff
have
or no?
some language.
Not for sure.
No, not.
Oh, okay, all right.
You-
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good day.
Yeah, see you later. Go ahead, sir.
Just some quick language on, so that we're not in violation of the county zoning resolution. So I showed this to Clint, but OEM is requesting, this would be the language that we put into the minutes. OEM is requesting a variance from section 6.5 of the Custer County zoning regulation, permitted signs and advertising for the purpose of placing verbal messaging signs within the Custer County right-of-way under the declaration of emergency for COVID-19.
that sounds
For
perfect.
COVID-19 or for any emergency?
Let's say for any of it.
Because we don't want to turn around and have to go through it again.
For any emergency.
Okay,
I like.
and that's, you're suggesting that's the language you'll run by planning and zoning,
For
right?
use during
Well,
emergencies.
I believe that you.
Well, he's already
back
talked
there.
to Jackie. That's, I asked her to see if it was okay to just present it directly to you without
Oh.
going through the planning commission or anything.
Recommendation from P and Z.
Yes, if you would put that language in there, then that would be great, because the sign variance actually goes to the Board of County Commissioners.
Anyway,
Okay, but when you say,
It doesn't go to the planning commission at all.
but when you say put it in there, you meaning the zoning resolution or no?
No,
he means in his
in your variance.
Oh,
very, very
In your minutes.
All right,
Please.
so
We
let's,
refer to the minutes.
So it's gotta
let's
say
add
something
that.
like that.
Okay, let's add this as an agenda item to the 18th,
for,
and we'll look at a variance request to P and Z.
I think
Fair
I'm
enough.
anxious to get something.
Or you want something before
I would
then?
like to move the signs today.
see,
Oh.
you're saying it's okay if that language is in the minutes, it'll be handled. Right? We don't have to.
We can go ahead and do it that way. If you would agree to it, the language that he wrote is perfect. It's not on your agenda though.
Right, that's where I was headed.
Okay.
However,
We can,
If it's not an action item, if it's just
yeah, we
the
could,
approval of planning and zoning.
I would say.
you're recommending that?
Jack,
To whatever handle it, and let's move
let
on.
them do it. That's the point, yeah.
Yeah, my recommendation is go ahead and let them do it, because they
They
gotta
don't
get
have
it
to vote
moved.
on it.
I agree.
So by consent then, gentlemen, I would never tell them this individually, and I don't think you guys would either. We need to decide as a board. But if we want to do it by consent, then I think we're okay there to move
And then
forward.
you gotta keep them out of the grader's way. They gotta be far enough
Right.
off so that the grader can come down,
Right,
I think this makes
because if
perfect.
they take them out, it's your responsibility.
but if we can't have them in CDOT, they're gonna be on private property. If we don't get a
They're gonna be
permit.
in the county.
He's just talking right.
Oh, you're talking about county right
Right
away,
away.
yeah.
County
Got you,
right-of-way.
got you. Okay. Common sense rules the day on the location, absolutely. So, yeah, as long as Jackie's fine with that, and
Yes, it-
would normally those variances would come to the commissioners anyway, correct?
It's $200.
He'll write a check
And the fee will be.
personally, or, all right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your follow-up on that, Adrian.
Thanks.
Yep. Next item of business, consideration of filing a complaint for unauthorized practice of law. Do we want to deal with that now? Do you want to backtrack a little bit, or you have the floor, sir?
No, we can deal with it now. We talked about this yesterday at some length about Peggy Collins representing Jim McMahon in his Cora request, even though she denied that she was doing it as an attorney. Everything I've received from Jim McMahon has Peggy Collins' name all over it as an attorney at law. She's using her Peggy Collins, whatever it is,
Law offices of.
.com, her email address. And that first message, she actually, as you pointed out yesterday, I didn't have that in front of me, but said this is very important, and, tell the commissioners to take it very seriously. That's going beyond, I think she's acting as a lawyer, and then even after it was brought up and she said that she wasn't the lawyer, then this next thing was clearly her legal research. Even though the email from Ann Barthrop said that that group of 91 people have researched it, it's obviously Peggy Collins that researched it and wrote that legal argument that I declined to respond to. I think there certainly are grounds here to file a complaint. And I heard from another county employee about her acting as an attorney for people when she should not have been doing so. So I think that she crosses the boundary. So I'm conflicted about going forward. I'm very annoyed by her casual behavior as far as where that line is, and she's clearly crossed it.
You responded to her personally already, didn't you?
The first time when I got that email that was supposedly from Jim McMahon, but she was the one that sent it to me and had that comment on it and everything. That's when I responded to her and said, I'm sorry, I can't find where you're licensed to practice law. I checked, and then she replied, and I have all that saved at home on my computer. I don't have it here, so I thought that would be the end of it. But then when we get this legal argument that Jim McMahon doesn't even bother to try to disguise to make it look like it's on his own communication. He just forwards that email directly to me. So it's clear that she is acting as an attorney for him, maybe for the others in the group. I don't know that all 91 got together and researched this. There was 91 was the number on that list of names. But I think she's exceeding her authority by giving legal advice and communicating, wanting to discuss and argue law with me. She's doing it as a lawyer. So I'll leave it up to the board. My feeling would be that she already had a warning, fired a shot across the bow, and she's kind of ignored it and got right back in there again. So perhaps a formal complaint filed with the Office of Attorney Regulation Council, which is an arm of the Colorado Supreme Court that handles complaints about unauthorized practice of law. I would like for her to be answerable to it. The penalty, if in fact they find that she's doing it, could be a fine of up to $2,000.
Gentlemen, thoughts? Here's my thought, Clint, that did we need to, that was what she come in for?
No, she came in for Adrian.
Yeah, okay, all right. My thought is maybe you could communicate, ask her to please quit presenting stuff that appears to be on behalf of her law office of Peggy Collins. If it happens again, then I would support filing a complaint. Another shot across the bow is, I guess, what I'm proposing.
I don't have a problem with that.
But I think a communication back to her would be appropriate. I just don't think we can just sit back and say, okay, let's see if she does it again. Let's say, we're asking you to quit.
And I'm fine with that approach. She didn't respond, when I sent my email back to Jim McMahon, it was Ann Barthrop who.
Right, she did not respond.
So Peggy Collins didn't.
Yeah.
But I will communicate directly with her.
Right, that's not our agreement. This is his opinion.
Yeah, I'm telling you what I think. We haven't agreed to anything. I'm just telling you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you mine because and you can go with it. I agree with Tom from a different kind of an aspect too. I think that's the right thing to do because I had a problem with your emails at one time when you sent me an email and it had this is confidential.
We're not discussing my.
No, I know. I'm just, wait a minute.
Bringing them up.
I know. My point I'm trying to make is it's an example is all. there's emails out there, and I don't know why she has the tag that says confidential law offices, blah, blah, blah. It's our email nonsense, and that's silly. And I know it's illegal and shouldn't be done. That's a given, as if she's practicing law here. That's true. But and I don't know how they interact as a group. I have no idea. But there's a group of people that are talking to each other on what to say on the complaint that they're filing. And I think that she needs a stern warning that you don't do that as a lawyer for a group. But she can certainly participate as a citizen doing anything she wants to do. That's my practice. Not giving legal advice. I didn't say that.
Well,
But my point is I think it's fair to do exactly what Tom's suggesting. I think it's a good thing that she needs to be put on.
And I'll give you my opinion. Thank you. I disagree with both of you. If she was a private citizen, not an attorney anywhere in the country, I would agree that a slap on the hand, a warning is extremely appropriate. This lady is an attorney. Every attorney takes 2 exams. I don't know if you know this. They take the bar exam and an ethics exam. It's separate and distinct. She knows the rules. Well, she wouldn't be a lawyer. She wouldn't pass that. She can't be a lawyer without it. If it was a private citizen, I would absolutely agree with it. In this case, she's an attorney. She knows better. She just flagrantly threw the rules out the door and said, I'm going to be your attorney, and did it. I would agree a warning is appropriate, but we've already done it. This woman has acted the way she chooses to. I feel it is absolutely appropriate for her to answer for her activities since she is an attorney and understands the rules of professional ethics. Clint passed that exam. I did. Every single attorney you did. We have to take what are called CLEs, continuing legal education classes, of which a portion of those are strictly ethics. This is an ethical violation of an attorney, and I feel she needs to answer to the Colorado Supreme Court or the Ethics Committee, same thing, for her actions. So I appreciate she's already been warned. If she hadn't been warned, I would say, let's warn her. But I feel she's been warned, flagrantly disregards it. It's time to move on. That's my opinion.
All right, and point well taken. I'm going to move to authorize council to communicate with her again and ask her not to communicate with the Board of County Commissioners or our county attorney in a manner that appears that she's functioning as an attorney.
Point of order, sir, as the chairman, I would not agree with that.
Okay.
I want a vote of the county commissioners so that we voice our vote with how you were telling.
Sure, I said I move. I made a motion to the 3 of us.
I did not hear it as a motion. I thought you were, I apologize. I thought you were telling the attorney to do that.
No,
Okay.
I said I move that we authorize the attorney to communicate with Ms. Collins again and ask her not to represent herself as an attorney via any communications to the commissioners.
or the county attorney.
Or the county attorney, yes.
I second it.
That's okay. No apology necessary. It's been moved and seconded to authorize the attorney to communicate Ms. Collins one more time with the general understanding that you will file a complaint if it happens again. That's the intent, unspoken intent. Discussion, further discussion. Public comment. Everybody's pretty quiet today. During that,
Hello? I do have a comment.
identify yourself, please.
Hello, this is Chris Bryson, upstairs in the assessor's office, and I have a comment about the sheriff's budget.
Oh, okay. Well, can you hold on just a second? We're in the middle of an unrelated motion.
I apologize for that. I thought I heard you discuss public comment.
I was asking public comment on the last item on the agenda, so we'll be right back with regular comment.
I apologize.
No problem, not necessary. Any other public comment on the motion before the group? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of authorizing the attorney to communicate with Ms. Collins pertaining to the aforementioned discussion, say aye. Commissioner Flower, aye. Commissioner Kanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Prince.
Nay.
Motion carries on a 2-to-1 vote.
I will do that today and send copies of the email that I'm going to send.
Thank you. Okay. Any other new business to come before the group, gentlemen? I had something. Gosh, did I write it down?
Shouldn't be new business with some item I'll bring up.
Yeah, we've dropped the ball on something, but I don't remember what it was. I do want to tell you that Nate Eckloff from Piper Sandler called, wants to bring, I don't have his last name, John, his first name down with Britt's company. They want to come down and do a little site look. So that's happening on the 19th of November. I said, do you want to meet with all the commissioners? He said, no, we just want to come down and look.
Yeah, I think that was brought up some time ago.
So I may have, I just couldn't remember if I informed you of that or not, or maybe sent you an email about it, but I don't want it to appear that I circumvented the commissioners. He just said, no, it's not necessary. We don't need to meet with your committee. He said, we just want to come down and look and see what's going on. I said, that's fine. So I've got it on my calendar. I don't know, there was something else, but it got by me, so. If nothing else, we'll move on to public comment. Okay, Mr. Chris, go ahead, sir. Public comment.
Thanks, gentlemen. I just wanted to discuss the actual raises for the sheriff's department. A couple of things were brought up that I'd like to echo.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things is I totally agree with the post-certified guys getting the full raise. I don't disagree with that. They do put their life in harm's way and they're underpaid for the state. The issue I have is with the jail staff. The problem becomes it's a very low qualification to become a detention officer to start with. When you look at the post, it's just high school diploma and essentially a good background. The second part of that is the fact that they don't do any formal academy. They're not required to carry a firearm. And so they're not in the same kind of harm's way that the sheriff's deputies are. Even when they transport prisoners, they do not carry firearms. So at no point is a firearm ever in the mix with them unless it's brought by an outside person. So I agree that they should get some raises, but I don't think they should get the full raise as the actual post-certified officers. They're not in the same category. They don't have the same continuing education. They don't have state certified, credentials. They're uncredentialed, they're OJT'd into jail, and they do a job that is absolutely essential, but I don't see it at all as essential as the post-certified sheriff's deputies. That is one thing I would like to say about that. The other is for the county in general, as far as the admin raises, I don't find it fair that an admin would get a big 19% raise when the rest of the county admin, essentially everybody in this building is sort of an admin. And there's a lot of highly qualified people here that do specialized jobs as well that are not easily replaced. So to give an admin a big raise, and understood it's the sheriff's office, but she's still an admin. And so I find it unfair to neglect the rest of the county. There's a whole bunch of us that make a lot less than that. And she's already more highly paid than a whole bunch of the admin staff in this building. And so I would just like to point out that I don't find it fair at all that an admin would get a 19% raise, and I don't think the jail staff should get the full 19. I don't know where that middle ground comes for the jail staff, but I don't agree. They're not the same caliber of individuals as far as the requirements, the certifications, the danger that they're put in.
Yeah, okay, understood. Now, I hope you understand that's the reason the sheriff was in here today, because we also felt like that the admin in the sheriff's office needed to be rewarded with the 2% salary increase like everyone else in the county.
Absolutely, and I heard that, and I just would like to echo that as somebody that's part of the county.
I just wasn't sure. I thought maybe you misunderstood what we just agreed with the sheriff to do, but.
Well, understood that we're going to revise the budget, but there's also still got to be a vote on it. I just wanted to put my comment on the record in support of paying the admin what the rest of the county is getting paid. And I think at least a half a deduction in the percentage increase for the jail staff. Like I said, they're not post-certified. They don't go to an academy. They don't carry firearms.
Okay,
got it.
Understood. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet. Thanks.
Appreciate the comment.
Any other public comment come before the commissioners? We're about to adjourn, so if you have public comment, now would be appropriate time. Hearing none, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Vote by voice is fine. Aye. Roll call on that. Did you guys vote? I didn't hear if you did, but
We don't need.
all in favor, say aye.
I did it.
I'll say aye.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned. And you know what, Miss Kara?
Yes.
We probably need adjourn on the agenda